For those of you who though aren't familiar with Carlee Russell, she's a 25-year-old black woman. Because again, a lot of the pushback and the rhetoric that we hear is a direct result of her being a black woman. Also, this is taking place in Hoover, Alabama. I am going to be in Birmingham, Alabama. I have next week for the National Association of Black Journalists. I have no idea of the distance between Hoover and Birmingham, but I know what they did to MLK, and I'm pretty sure not much has changed since then. So we got to understand the socio-political climate that exists where these situations take place. So Carlee Russell, 25-year-old black woman, she contacted the police on the night of July 13th, stating that she had seen a child walking along the interstate I-459, and subsequently she was abducted. Nobody heard from her, and so on and so on. It has since come out that she wasn't kidnapped. In fact, there was a lot of potential preparation in this situation on her behalf, where she's researching movies like Taken prior to her alleged kidnapping, where she's taking items from her job, robes and other things, to potentially, whether she's staying out in the woods or who knows, because those details have not come out yet. But it's come out that she was not kidnapped. And first and foremost, I think we should be thankful that she wasn't kidnapped. I know in the society that we're in, where we want to spit vitriol, where we want to do the proverbial hanging of black folk and black women specifically when they aren't telling the truth. Nobody can make mistakes in society because individuals are so quick to want to cancel people. First and foremost, I want to say that I'm glad she wasn't kidnapped. For thousands of black girls, for thousands of black men, that isn't the case. And we know that the police doesn't necessarily give a damn when something like this takes place. But again, this is something we're going to get into. But first, I want to read the update that came out right before I came on the air, even though you're listening to this as recording. So on behalf of Carlee Russell, her attorney provided a statement saying, "My client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area when she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have help in this incident, that this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or any hotel with anyone from the time she was missing. My client apologizes for her actions to this community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies as well, to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in this matter. Carlee again asks for your forgiveness and prayers." Unfortunately, it will not end here. And the reason that it will not end here is because America as a society is not forgiving. It's not forgiving. Although they tell black folk to move on. Yeah, they tell black folk, hey, you experienced it. Well, we would care if you forgive us or not. Move on. It's time to move on. Unfortunately, Carlee Russell can't just say, hey, I apologize. Can we move on? No, because she's what? And again, we're talking about Alabama here. So we know how the police are viewed across the country, where they're viewed as heroes when they're anything but heroes. It's a hero and a police officer, they're the antithesis of one another. And there's for many reasons why. But one of them is because you signed up for this. You signed up for this job. So anything you do under the scope of this job, is a part of your duties. Doesn't necessarily make you a hero. A hero is somebody who, hey, we're walking down the street and we recognize that there's a fire and somebody might be inside. We're going to run in. And maybe some people will argue the risking of their life makes them a hero. But again, you chose this, right? You chose this. So as we move forward with regards to Carlee and what didn't take place, my initial reaction when the information came out as to the speculation that, you know what, it might not be a kidnapping, was to show her empathy. And I wrote a post, which for me is viral, right? Got about 400 or some odd likes. Again, for somebody like me who's just a regular old Negro who writes and posts on social media, that was a lot. But for me, it was, hey, I'm gonna show empathy, because either she was really kidnapped, which again we learned later that she wasn't, or she felt the need to concoct this story for some specific reason that speaks to some underlying issues that may exist within her life. See, we have limited understanding of mental health. Society has done a poor job in discussing what mental health can look like. We automatically attach it to a diagnosis, depression, anxiety. We don't necessarily think about the impact that it may have on our decision making. We don't hear terms like unhealthy, that this individual may be unhealthy in some capacity. For them to be, let's say in Carlee's case, for her to create this fictitious story and to follow it from start to finish. Again, why would somebody do that? Which is the first question that I would ask. Why? What are you trying? Are you trying to escape from something? What are you trying to escape from? Are you trying to escape from the stresses and pressures of life? That is very real. That means that when it comes to coping and navigating your day to day, that yes, you're putting forth a yeoman's effort, but it's taking a toll on you for you to result to this. If we say she just did it for its attention-seeking behavior. Okay, why? Why go through these lengths? What underlying issues are causing you to potentially seek attention in such a maladaptive way? Now, again, these are the questions we should be asking. But it's not taking place. Because again, folk don't have the language. Folk don't have the cognitive wherewithal to be able to sit and grapple with, hey, why is this happening? What is taking place in this young lady's world for this to happen? We may or may not get answers to this. But for me, filing charges against her does what? It's not going to deter any behavior. Because trust, if somebody is unhealthy in whatever capacity, if they want to escape and get away and get off the grid, they may do something similar. Especially if you get to that level where you're like, yo, I need to get away as soon as possible. Or if you say, hey, I want attention, I want the focus on me. Charges filed does little to dissuade this type of behavior. I mean, think about it in terms of just everyday life when we're talking about serious crimes. Since when has murder charges and putting somebody in jail dissuaded individuals from committing acts of violence, from committing murder? When has a speeding ticket ever stopped you from speeding again, from running that red light, for going 10 miles above the speed limit? It doesn't. Now, again, well, that's traffic related. But it's the same idea. If penalty is so persuasive as a mechanism to dissuade behaviors from occurring, then wouldn't we see a reduction in everything across the board? But that's not the case. And so for folk who are trying to do the bidding for the state, which folk who know me know that I will not do the bidding for the state. That's just not in my makeup. Because what do I gain from advocating for this individual to go to jail, for Carlee Russell to go to jail, or for charges to be brought up? What do I personally gain from that? Nothing. It's going to tell her to stop playing around and tell others, don't play around, don't waste resources. As I started this podcast out, I said I went to Target and I went to Lowe's and other places within the city of Philadelphia where I see cops stationed there for hours on end at these billion-dollar corporations. Well, that's going to stop crime. That's going to deter crime. Well, why are my tax dollars going to it? Why isn't armed security at Target, at Lowe's, in these other places? So no, I will not do the bidding for the state. I will exercise compassion for Carlee. Because again, I have no idea about her background. Her boyfriend came out yesterday on the 23rd of July and offered a statement saying, hey, stop bullying her. This is doing nothing. Stop bullying her on social media. Because for once, a black woman going missing has received public attention. And then you get the individuals who come out, well, this is going to stop them from searching for black women. Well, studies show that they don't give a fuck anyway. Well, you know what? If they don't give a fuck now, they definitely not going to give a fuck if something else happened. Again, look how y'all sound. But think about how these people sound when they make statements like this. And the statements that are coming out from people who supposedly love black folk. This gonna harm the movement. Stop. Because in reality, no one man should have all that power. And they don't. They do not. Nothing that Carlee Russell has exhibited is going to influence, whether negatively or positively. Because if she was kidnapped, that's not going to sit there and say and make this change of, okay, hey, all the missing black girls, black boys and black men, black women, now we're going to see an uptick in searches. Just the logic doesn't follow. Because we would have seen that. Here in Philadelphia, a young sister was going missing for a few days. And she was found. And it was high profile because it made white media. It made the rounds on social media because, hey, I reposted this, so now I'm invested. And I'm one of those people who are like, yo, if I repost this and you say somebody is found, I feel like I am invested emotionally. I need to know what happened. We need to have a community conversation about what's going on. Why was this individual missing? Now, I am somebody that says that. But ultimately, just because you expended this emotional energy by hitting share and then going to posting memes, but you hit share, so you're completely invested. Like, is this what we talking about? It's mind-boggling. But what this says is anything that grabs your attention for longer than the customary, 30 minutes to an hour, you're completely invested in now. And if it's some shady business going on, that you're entitled to voice your opinion regarding it. And that's the issue that I have with social media. Everybody has an opinion. And you might be like, Phil, well, you're on social media and you always have an opinion. I do. I do. But you know what I do? I also sit and I think about things. I sit and grapple with things. I didn't necessarily want to come out initially when it came to Carlee Russell, even though I had intentions on it. And then when more information started to come out, because I wanted to be responsible, I wanted to be able to articulate a position where it's not even necessarily about choosing sides. This isn't a choosing sides type of deal. Everything in society now is you're either on the left or you're on the right. You're either woke or you're either anti-woke. And lost in this is this idea of humanity. And this idea of shared humanity specifically. And so that's why when we talk about Wesley Snipes in New Jack City, when he was on a stand, he said, "Yo, this is bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than Carlee Russell not being truthful about a kidnapping. What she exposed was it became aware, that made so many of us aware. I'm not going to say so many of us, but made people aware about the disproportionality of coverage when it comes to abductions of black girls, black women. We all knew it. Let a little white girl go missing. But again, and then oh man, I'm starting to get frustrated. I'm starting to get frustrated because folk be tripping, man. Folk be tripping. It made us aware of again, for me, who's even people who say they're for the cause. They're for the liberation of black folk. I'm watching sister, I ain't gonna say her name. I'm watching her in her car talking about how problematic this is. Like, fam, you trying to be the face of a movement, but you're allowing your emotion to dictate, to push the white supremacist agenda. And folk don't even be seeing it. When you actively calling for the police to intervene and to file charges, you're promoting a white supremacist agenda. Which is the anti-blackest thing you could do. And so I decided against, talking about some other stories because I just wanted to focus on Carlee Russell. And I'm sure more is going to come out. But for me, I wish this sister the best. I hope that she finds the peace and the healing, not only from this situation, but from whatever precipitated this incident. Because I don't see individuals letting up. Not yet. And again, we're talking about Alabama. They ain't got shit else to do. Alabama football don't start for another few weeks. So this will be the topic of conversation for a bit. Listen, as always, I'm grateful that you chose to tune in. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share. If you're whatever streaming platform you're on, subscribe, like, comment, share. Until next time. Peace.